should be live. Are we live? I think we should be live.
I don't know, it's taking a minute for the laptop to catch up. We are live.
Okay. Good. It isn't even good morning, is it? I feel as if I'm already asleep. So if I fall asleep during the healing session, well, there we are. There we have it. And excuse me, I certainly didn't mean to start the show off like that. So come on, I need to wake up. I don't know quite why I'm so sleepy. I think it's because Michelle is here, and Michelle is so sleepy because she's very sick. So first of all, let me say hello everyone, and hello to Michelle for sitting on the floor once again, nursing her knee. She could hardly get up off the floor earlier on. Her leg went to sleep and she could barely move. If you'd have heard the moaning and the groaning in this house, I tell you, it was terrible. All right, but we're all settled now. Are you all settled?
I'm all settled.
Michelle, so good. All right then, so our healing session, Hands Around the World healing session. Remember, let me just remind you all, if you want to join with me and my group to send healing, you need to join with us 11 a.m. Wherever in the world you are, your 11 a.m. will do perfectly. It's all about energy. It's all about sending out those right thoughts. And so at 11 a.m. we have our, what we call our healing minute. It literally doesn't take longer than 1 minute for you to send out all of your prayers and all of your healing energy to anyone who requests it. We have a healing list. I have a healing list. People are in my healing book. We send out healing to all of my patients on a daily basis. And if you have your own list, that's okay. You can combine your list with mine if you like. And so in that minute, you think about the people who have requested healing from you. And also, if you just want to help me, you think about all the people who are on my healing list. And we just send out lots and lots of love and healing and love and light and all of that stuff. So, so first of all, I do see we have a couple of comments, do we not, to begin? Or we don't?
The only comment is me telling everybody good afternoon.
Oh, there you are then, it's you. I saw something flash up there, but without my glasses on, I can't see a thing. I can't see what anybody's writing to me, which is why I have to do it this way, and I have to rely on Michelle to help me with this. So, all right, so do we have anyone on, do you know?
It looks like 4 or 5 people.
I'm just going to go diving in then, because, you know, if you can't make it live, and I know that it's a very different time, it's a very unusual time for us, but if you can't make it live, you can always watch this show anyway. We shall put it on Facebook. Well, it's on Facebook already, but we shall also download it or upload it or whatever that is to YouTube. Both.
You have to download.
We should and upload to YouTube later on today, so you'll be able to find it either on my Facebook page or you can find it on the YouTube channel. And remember, as we're doing the healing, every time I do healing, every time we do the say the prayer and we send out healing, that even though it's recorded, it's still working. It's still right there. So you know, so just remember that even if you don't catch me live, you can still catch me. You can still get healing from me. You can still use my healing energy as much as you would like. So let's go into our story. And I keep changing my mind as to which story I'm going to tell. So I'm going to first of all talk about how, as a team, my healers in England and also in the States, how we used to work. When somebody comes to, if we have a healing centre, when somebody comes to the healing centre, they'll often come with a friend or they'll often come with family. When people come and they request healing at home, of course, then we're right in the heart of the family, and we like to encourage the family to participate with us. or at least to chat to us afterwards, because I feel that healing is not just for the patient, it's for the entire it's for the entire family as well. So I was requested to, this particular time, the stories I'm going to tell you, I was requested to go out to a hospital in Doncaster in South Yorkshire, England. And I didn't know a great deal about my patient, but it was requested, can we come and give healing? It turned out that this man had had an accident at work, and a huge crane, I think it was, had fallen on his chest and it was crushed. He obviously, they removed everything, they got him out from under, they took him to hospital, and now he was in the intensive care unit in the hospital. But when I arrived there, my first inclination was not to see the patient. My first inclination was to go to the family and talk to the family, and talk specifically to that one person who had called me to ask me to come and take it. And it was this man's wife, and she'd called and said, would you come and give my husband some healing? So I went into the waiting room, and the waiting room was filled to capacity. All this man's family, his daughters, his son, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the whole place was filled with his family. And so my first job, before I even saw my patient, was to talk to the family, let the family talk to me, and they told me what had happened. The next thing, I went with one of the family and went in to see my patient. I don't remember his name. We're going to call him David. Why not? So David was lying on the bed. He was totally comatose. The machines were all around him. He was breathing, but not on his own. He had internal bleeding. He'd had, massive surgery, and it was touch and go. Would he survive? Wouldn't he survive? If he had survived, there wasn't a great deal of hope or expectation that he would be in anything other than a wheelchair, but still, obviously, his family wanted him to survive no matter what. Over the period of the next week or so, I went to the hospital on a daily basis, and I saw my patient David at least twice every time I went, because I would go and see him, then I'd talk to the family, then go and see him again. And I got to know, you can imagine, you go that often, I got to know the family very, very well, and it became very apparent to me that first of all, it was sort of one of these choices: which way will David go? Which way will he choose to go? Now, I believe that, there is a time for us to die. There's that, time for us to be born, a time for us to die, and it was not just about David making up his mind as to whether or not to go. I think David had asked for time for his family to get used to the fact that he was, in fact, going. So one day I walked in, and there's David. He's laid on the bed, again, not moving, not a twitch, nothing at all. And I giving him healing, and as I was giving him healing, I felt a movement to my side, to my left side, and I looked over, and there I saw David. I'm going to say he was in his 50s, so he wasn't an old man by any means, and I saw him standing next to his body. Now, let me be clear, he hadn't died yet. He'd just left his body, and he'd come out of his body so that he could talk to me in a way that I could understand, and in a way that he could express himself. I said to him, I take it's not going to be long now. He said no, but he said, I'm worried about my family, I'm worried about my daughters, I'm worried about how they're going to deal with this. Will you help them? I said, I'll do my very best. we had quite a long conversation. Now, you would think that healing would be, I'd put my hands on him, I'd say a prayer, and that would be the end of that. But healing is so much, much more than that. If you can in some way make a connection with the patient, if you can in some way help the patient to make a connection with their family, if you can help the family to deal with what is happening to them and the tragedy that is unfolding before them, that's all part and parcel of a healer's job. After I'd spoken to David at some length, I left him. I knew I'd see him again. I knew he'd be there for at least another couple of days. But now it was my job to go in and talk to the family. And of course they asked the difficult question, is he going to survive? I gave him the answers that David had asked me to give to them. No, we don't die. We continue on. No, I'm not in any pain. I'm doing okay. No, I don't want to leave you, but it's my time. So I have no choice. No, you're not going to lose me. I'm going to be visiting you often. Now, when I talked to David, when there were just the two of us in this hospital room, there's just this one bed in the middle of this big hospital room, tied up to all sorts of machines and so on, and there he is standing next to him, his body, talking to me. When I talked to him, he was telling me that he'd always believed that there was something beyond life. He didn't quite know what it was, but he was sort of getting used to the idea, and he'd like me to tell his family. So I actually talked to them about how David had left his body and was able to talk to me and to tell me things. Now, anybody can do that. You know, you can make it up as you go along, in fact, but not anybody can give clear and precise messages, information that only the family knows, information about David that only he knew, that his wife perhaps knew, confirming and verifying that in fact I had indeed had a conversation with David. I went to the hospital. It took about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks before he eventually passed. Again, I'm going to say that he had asked if he could have time for his family to get used to what was going on. Of course, you never get used to it, do you? You can't get used to the fact that someone you love is dying. But I think he didn't want them to just have him gone and be in such shock and not be able to manage. They were a very close family. They were a very close-knit family. And I would sit with them for hours, but they would bombard me with question upon question upon question. I don't profess to be all-knowing and all-seeing, and I certainly don't profess to know everything by any means. David died. They had the funeral, and they came to see me. And they told me how helpful it was just to have someone who perhaps knew a little bit more than they did. They told me how helpful it was and how comforting it was that I would go in there with David and just hold his hand and talk to him and just be there for him. They told me how helpful it was that someone cared. Not someone who's getting paid for it, not someone who's wearing a doctor's uniform or a priest's uniform or whatever, not someone who's paid to do the job. But they told me how wonderful it was that they were able to meet someone who simply cared because it was the right thing to do. I said to them at one point, you know, what I like to think is that, we pass it on. I don't know if you ever saw, there's a great movie with Kevin Spacey where a boy died, but you pass it on, you pass the good stuff on, you pass all the good stuff that is given to you. What can I do? How can I repay you? Pass it on and give it to someone else. And I like to think that David's family were able to pass it on, to use the information that they got, to use the experience that they got, and to pass on that knowledge and that information to others who they would eventually meet, who would be in similar circumstances. I'd like to think that all of you who are receiving healing today, pass it on. I'd like to think that all of you who want to hear a story, pass it on. Of course, we can do things like share now, can't we? We can click and we can share. So yes, I'm saying let's share, please share. But also, every one of us at some point in our lives, in many times in our lives, will come across people who are in distress for one reason or another. We've lost someone, or we've broken up with a boyfriend, I don't know, whatever it is. A little bit of kindness goes an awfully long way. This story for me was very powerful because I had conversations with a dead man who wasn't dead yet, but was able to leave his body and come and talk to me because he loved his family so much. He was able to do this for them, and then I was able to pass it on. I passed it on to them. I like to think they passed it on to others. I'd like to think that you all pass it on. Pass on the story, pass on the feelings, pass on the fact that there is someone, and there are many someones out there who actually care. We care, we send our prayers, we send our energy. We're not getting anything back for it. Well, I disagree, because I always get 10 times more, perhaps 30 times or 50 times more than I give out. And that's what happens when you give for the joy of giving and just because it's the right thing to do. I do think you get back. So I'm asking you, pass on the story, pass on the healing, share if that's the way you can do it. But the next time you're in the supermarket, don't just go do your shopping. Take a little peek around. There might be an old lady in there who just needs an arm around her. Or just, hi, how are you doing? A kind thought, a nice smile. You look nice today. I love the hat you're wearing. Doesn't matter what you say. Just a little bit of kindness goes an awful long way. So passing it on is a phenomenal and a wonderful thing to do. It isn't the first time that I saw someone about to die standing outside of the body and able to have a conversation with me. It isn't the first time. I'm hoping it won't be the last either. There are other stories. As a healer, we have an abundance of those stories. The stories aren't about us. The stories are about the patients, they're about the families, and they're about the comfort that they get from the healing that is given to them. All right, so any comments? Anyone have a question? Anyone like to be mentioned today? What have we got there, Michelle?
Well, Molly is on over here. She was on YouTube.
And I remember Molly. I remember you.
And she said,
we're throwing you an abundance of energy and healing.
And then she said, passing it forward's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Judith is on, and she said, pay it forward.
That's right. Well, I think that was the name of the movie, Pay It Forward, with Kevin Spacey. I thought he played a fabulous. I love Kevin Spacey anyway. He's a great actor. All right, go ahead.
And Donna is on, and she said, good afternoon to you and to me. And other than that, that's it.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now then is I'm going to do this healing session. So as usual, if you can sit nice and straight. Look at me, I'm getting myself all ready. Hands palms upwards in a receiving position. Hands palms upwards, and lay them on your lap and be nice and comfortable. Find a comfortable place to sit. You can do this standing if it's easier for you. You can do it laying down if it's easier for you. I always like to put my patients as much as possible in a chair, although a lot of patients love to lie on a bed, so we do it either way. But for these purposes, find somewhere nice and comfortable to sit, somewhere nice and easy. Let's say our healing prayer, and then we'll begin. So, dear God, please allow us to be a part of your healing process. Allow us to participate with you. Allow us to join with that universal God force that is out there, that force of healing, that force of goodness, that force of light. Please allow us to participate in that and to be a part of the healing process. And, dear God, our will, your will to I will. Wait a minute, let me do that again. I will to your will. I've got it right. I will to your will. In other words, whatever God decides is the right way to go. So I will to thy will. All right, breathing in slowly using your solar plexus. Breathe in nicely and easily. Come on, Molly, you can do this. I know that you can do this. Breathing in, relaxing, eyes closed, palms laid on your lap, palms upwards in a receiving position. Now, the colour blue is universal healing colour, so think blue, blue, blue. Visualize a blue blanket wrapped around you. Visualize lying on green grass under a blue, blue sky. Green is the colour of rest. Green is the colour of peace and harmony. So if you can visualize these colours, or you can visualize them, if it's easier, swirling around you, blues and greens and golds. The gold of the sun, the blue of the sky, the green of the grass, the yellow of the daffodils. Just bring all these beautiful colours, visualize these colours, and visualize them wrapped around you, keeping you warm, keeping you safe, bringing you healing. Breathe in through your solar plexus. Breathing in, hold it. Relax. Let the energy flow through your body, through your upper body, down and through your arms, out through your fingertips. Again, closing your eyes, breathing in. Remember, visualize. If you can only visualize one color, visualize blue. Visualize a blue blanket woven with threads of gold, woven with threads of pink, the color of love, green, the color of peace and harmony, a blue blanket woven with the colors of gold, which is indicative of God and the light of God, silver, which is the purely spiritual aspect. Visualize these colors woven into this blanket and wrap it around you, and breathing in and absorbing all that color, all that energy. Breathing in, holding it nicely, gently, easily, and relax. Keep on visualizing that blue blanket. Let this energy flow through you. Let this energy flow around you. Let this energy be a part of you. Breathe it in. Become that energy if you can. Be greedy with it. Take as much of that energy as you possibly can. And breathing in again through your solar plexus. When you breathe in, remember you're breathing in all of this universal healing energy. You are allowing the God force to enter you. You're allowing that beautiful, bright, bright light, the light of God, to enter you and to fill you and to absolutely fill you up. Breathing in and hold it and hold that energy. Be joyful in holding that energy. Be at peace holding that energy. And in your own time, let go. Visualize that energy flowing through you, throughout your body, down into your arms, and out through your fingertips. Your palm centers might be throbbing a little bit now. Some of you might feel a tingling sensation. Some of you might just feel so warm and cozy. Some of you might feel heat in your palms or cold in your palms. This is the energy that is flowing around you. This is the energy that is just, let's say, invading you. So breathe it in, because this energy is good, pure, beautiful, healing energy. And holding it, and holding it. Breathing in and relax. And when you're ready, you can stretch a little. You can wriggle your shoulders a little if you feel like it. And slowly, slowly come around and open your eyes. So when we send out energy to our patients, and again it only takes a minute, because we're just handing it over to God. That's all we're doing. It doesn't take very long at all. Here, God, you have it, is what we're saying. That's it. I think that didn't even take 10 seconds to say that. But we're just handing it over. Even if you don't feel anything, even if you feel nothing at all, healing is still working. Healing is still working within you. Healing is first and foremost a healing of the spirit, the energy field that surrounds the soul. First, we give healing to the spirit. We give healing to the soul. And as the spirit becomes brighter and lighter, it can fill us. It can fill our whole being with this incredible, beautiful God force. So we allow that God force to permeate through us. So even if we don't actually feel anything on the impact of healing, healing is working for us throughout the day, throughout the night, throughout the next day. And every time you think about it, and every time you connect with us, and every time you say the healing prayer for yourself, and every time you connect in with me or you watch me doing this, every time you are receiving healing. And it's almost like being topped up. You're being topped up and topped up and topped up. Healing is about the healing of the spirit self. If the physical body then responds, which it so often does, and if the physical body responds and becomes well and becomes healthy, which again it so often does, then that's the miracle that we're looking for. But we're also looking for the miracle of seeing the light and the brightness and the golden aura of our spirit as it flowers and eventually takes flight. All right, I know that people are popping up here, so do we have questions or comment or anything at all going on here, Michelle?
Judith was on, and she said,
Hi,
my
Judith.
sister and her son are both being treated for cancer right now. She wants to make sure that she's got them on the healing list, and we'll put them on there right away.
Judith, if you could just let us know the name of your sister and your nephew. You don't have to give full names, just a first name is fine. It just kind of helps us. God knows anyway, but it's just for us. We'd like to sort of, instead of putting anonymous or something, we'd like to have a name because we'd like to make it a little bit more personal. We will absolutely, certainly send healing to them. And please, 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 could you connect with us? Email me, rosemary@rosemaryaLtea.com, and let us know how they're doing, would you please? Because we really do want to know.
Karen said thank you and much love. And Molly said, oh my.
Oh my, Molly.
I did feel tingling to my hands. Also felt like someone had their hands on top of mine. Good. Could feel the pressure mostly on the right hand and still feel it now. Good.
Well, every time you watch this, my darling, every time you go into, whether it's this particular session or we've been doing this now for a few weeks, so you can always check on the other sessions that we've had, but every time it'll be as if you're being topped up. You'll get topped up. So I'm glad for that, Molly, and thank you for letting us know. But you're already on our healing list. Within 2 minutes of requesting, Michelle had your name down, so you're on the list, as well as Judith's sister and her son. But if you wouldn't mind, Judith, emailing us, just let us know, or you can let us know
she
now.
She posted it right here.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
I've got it.
Good. What are their names?
Sandra and David.
Sandra and David. I love the name of David. If I'd had a boy, I would have liked to call him David. That's a whole other thing. Sandra and David, and I'd love to know the little one's name, age, if you would. If that's only for me, though. You don't have to do it. It's just for me. But we'll certainly send them healing. What else have we got here?
Sharon is on.
Hi, Sharon.
And she said, my nephew's son, Connor, has muscular dystrophy. Please add him to your healing list.
She's already done it, Sharon, but absolutely, thank you.
That's it.
And that's it.
It's nice and easy and relaxing today.
Okay, well that's what we need, because poor Michelle is just ready to go home, I have to say. All right, so please may I remind you all, if you would like to be on the mailing list, if you'd like to know what we're up to, or if you, because we will be having seminars, and we'll be having some healing seminars as well, not just for people who want healing, but we'll be having some healing seminars for people who would like to learn how to be a healer, what to do. So we'll be having a few of those courses going on in the future. So if you want to be on the email list, you have to request it. Just because you send us an email does not mean we should put you on the mailing list. You have to say, please put me on, and then we should put you on our mailing list. You will only be notified maybe two or three times in a month or something. Not even 4 to 6. Oh, 4
I normally should send one email a week unless we have a special announcement.
Okay, so once a week. We promise not to pester you. We promise not to be those people who send you emails every day. We don't do that. But you have to request if you want to be on the healing list. Anybody else have anything to say? Anyone else?
Sharon just said thank you.
You're very welcome. So tomorrow we shall be on our Everything is Attitude show, and I should be talking with Al about changing ourselves. Don't expect other people to change. You're the one who has to change, and hopefully those around you will change in a more positive way by responding to your changes. Oh golly, that's so hard. Isn't that hard to do that? But we'll be talking about that tomorrow. That will be 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's like an hour and a bit from now. That's what day is it today? Thursday. That'll be tomorrow. And of course, golly, we're all worn out today. Also, we should be back next week on our YouTube show, The Spirit World Sees All. That will be, as always, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh my goodness. And for my students who probably, well, I don't think anybody's there from my classes, but anyway, I should be there tonight, and so be ready for that, because I'm a tough teacher. And so, anyone else? That it?
Everybody says thank you.
That was lovely, so thank you all for joining me. Remember, as many times as you watch it is as many times as you'll get healing, so don't be afraid to watch it as often as you like. Yes?
Remind everybody to email us if they want to be on the mailing list.
Okay, so if you would like to be on our mailing list, it's not, if you email me just on a regular basis, if you just email, we will not put you on the mailing list, because who wants to be receiving emails every day from some obscure place? If you want to be on my mailing list, you must request, please put me on the mailing list. So you send your email to Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. That's ROSEMARY ALTEA, Altea. So rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com, and in your subject line, if you would just put mailing list, and then Michelle will know exactly what to do, and we probably won't respond to you, or she might shoot you off an email saying
I try to
you're
respond
on.
to everybody.
So she tries to do that, but don't worry, because once you've requested it, if you want to be on our healing list, if you want to be in my healing book, then again, please email us and say healing book or healing, and then we'll know exactly what to do with you, and you'll be put on the list as well. So we have lots and lots of patients around the world. You don't have to speak the language, any language, to get healing, because God knows exactly how to talk to you, and he hears you anyway. So please email us, rosemary@rosemaryaltea.com. If you want to know anything else about us, that's the same email address. Just write to us. We love to hear from you. And if you will have requested healing, or if you've requested either yourself or someone else on the healing list, don't be afraid to drop us a line, please, because we do like to hear from you. Don't be afraid to drop us a line and let us know how they're doing, how they're getting on, and if anything changes with them. We always like to know those things. So that's it. That's it, right, Michelle? So until I see you again, please, please, please have a wonderful rest of the day. Have a very, very, very blessed rest of the day, and please have a very, very blessed weekend, because the weekend is coming up now. I hope you're all going to do something really, really fun. Bye, everyone.